So I want to welcome everybody. This is a great little showing here. We're here to celebrate a number of things. Everybody knows that Whitaker Center has completed its 15 years for its founding, and you think about the mission of Whitaker and what it means to Harrisburg, what it means to this region, to the families, to the children. It's been a wonderful place, truly for people to discover it all. So over 4 million visitors through that time, 1.4 million visitors to Harrisburg Science Center, including 500,000 children in school groups, field trips. 1 million patrons enjoying the performing arts in Sunoco Performance Theater, and 1.8 million children and adults immersed in this giant screen films in the Select Medical Digital Cinema. So when you think about everything that Whitaker Center has been to this region, I think it's safe to say that it's truly enriched the lives of all of us who live and work in this area. Just as importantly, it's generated huge economic impact and vitality into this area. Over $300 million of economic impact over 15 years. And the philanthropy that it has attracted, people investing in the mission of Whitaker. We had a board meeting yesterday as we were going through and understanding and appreciating that all that Whitaker Center is, it's so critical for us to continue to invest in what this center means for this area. I would like to specifically express some thanks for Dr. Liz Billingsley, Lisa Kreider, Kristen Owine-Milkey, and Mary Weber Weston, who served, I'd like to say served with me on the committee for this, but I'm the least able to actually make any decision as to what truly constitutes great art. So I went with them because they all had it together here. But they served on this committee to make a choice with regards to the sculpture itself. Most importantly, and we're going to, look at that. It's ready to come off. Well, I'll tell you what, let me introduce the artist, and then we're going to spend some time and we'll introduce Dr. and Dr. Haynes as part of this. Kevin Caron is the artist, and we're going to ask him to make some comments on this beautiful piece that he has been commissioned to deploy here at Whitaker.
I would like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I would like to thank the Whitaker Center Board of Directors and patrons and staff for all their help getting this installed. I would especially like to thank Dr. Michael and Matt Haynes for their generosity, incredible hospitality as well. And a few years ago, I created a 5-foot diameter version of this piece as a private commission. And not too long after I had installed that piece, I was contacted by the folks down at Pima Community College in Tucson, Arizona, for their Sculpture on Campus program. And I thought this would be the perfect piece to take large, to make it big, make it monumental. So after about 9 months worth of work, I could finally roll this piece out the door and took it down there for the exhibition. It was supposed to be a year. It wound up down there for 2 years. And it generated a lot of conversation because it was installed right outside the library. And that's where the math class was. That's where they met, was right there in the library. And I hear there was a lot of discussion as to how the formula worked and how the shape worked, and a lot of fun with the whole piece. I'm sorry, I lost my place. About the same time that I started to create this piece, I was asked by a YouTube fan, I've got a big YouTube channel, and somebody said, could you do a series of videos on how to create a sculpture from conception to completion? What are all the different steps that you would go through to try to make something? And I thought, this is perfect. This is just the right piece to do it with. So there's a 15-part series on my YouTube channel, and we also have some DVDs inside that you can pick up. What does the piece mean Besides, it's rude. Get over there. But what does the piece mean? I get that asked. I get asked that a lot. For me, what I see here, I see my journey in life so far. I see me trying to improve myself, mentally, physically, just my stature in life. A better house, a better job, becoming a better person. But when you look at this unveiled Taurus, what you're going to see is a single-sided, three-dimensional object. So when you look at it, just put your metal finger up there and follow it around one time, and you find out you're on a different side. You become a different person all of a sudden. It takes 3 trips around this piece to actually wind up right back where you started, which was just what I did. I made this big, long journey, and all of a sudden realized I haven't gotten anywhere. I haven't achieved any of the things I was hoping to achieve because I was looking out. I was looking over there. I never bothered to look in here. And that's what this piece is to me. It's to be true to yourself. It's to be true to what's inside you, mentally and physically, and then you become that person that you've actually been trying to become all these years. When Dr. Haynes contacted me and said, I like this, is this available? I want this. That's when I realized that wherever you go, there you are, had also achieved its fulfillment. It had found its true home because it found a home right here in a house that worships science and art. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Dr. Michael Madeline. Thank you very much.
So, and now I don't think Michael or Madeline need much introduction. They've both lived in Harrisburg for 15 years and have been residents of Pennsylvania for nearly 30 years. They've given to a number of charities, and of course, Michael's great work here at Whitaker Center is well known. But because of their generosity in donating to make this possible, we're able to do something that, as I understand it, I wasn't here at the time, but there was always a hope and desire to put something out here for Whitaker Center, but there was never the funding. So we owe a great debt of gratitude for their generosity. So with that, I'd like to invite them to come up and say a few words.
Shortly after I became president of Whitaker Center, I learned of a plan to place a sculpture right here where we are tonight. But I also learned that that plan had been abandoned. It simply cost too much money, there weren't the resources, and clearly we had lots of other needs. We had many other projects that needed to be funded. The Science Center needed to be renewed, the building needed repairs, we had lots of things that needed resources. So it really wasn't quite the time to start trying to raise money for a sculpture here in front of Whitaker Center. And I'm pleased to report that many of those projects did get funded. Much of the work has been done. We have renewed the Science Center. We've continued to renovate the facility, to make it a modern facility, and to conserve on energy and a number of other things. But for the last 8.5 years, I have been across the street on the second floor with a window that looks out on this space. And I've wondered, when will we have the opportunity to put a piece of sculpture there in that empty space that's just crying for a piece of sculpture? About 3 years ago, Madeline and I talked about this project, and we agreed that it was a project that was important to the center. We also agreed that we would underwrite the project as a gift to Whitaker Center. So the first person I would like to thank this evening is Madeline. My partner for nearly 40 years now, for agreeing that this was an important project for us to support. Thank you. Second, I want to thank the task group for their wisdom in selecting this extraordinary piece that truly combines art and science. As Gary mentioned, Dr. Billingsley, Lisa Kreider, Chris Allwine-Milky, Mary Weber Weston, along with Gary. He was there, he participated, he gave his opinion, and they were good ones, and they participated in selecting this particular piece. What I never told Kevin was that we actually looked at a large number of pieces. But yours was selected. And it was unanimous. I would especially like to thank Lisa. Where is Lisa Kreider? Lisa, in her role as Vice President for Operations, actually was overseeing the entire project. From replacing the concrete that's below my feet. This was actually damaged and it was leaking into the lower level of the Science Center. So we had to replace all the concrete in this area anyway. So that was part of the project, as well as worrying about whether the concrete would cure fast enough to carry a 2,500-pound piece of sculpture. And I'd also like to thank John Caron. John is John has worried about this project for over 6 months. And we're pleased that he has worried about every little detail because this project has gone flawlessly. There has not been a single hitch. The only hitch that occurred was on Tuesday morning when the sculpture arrived before the crane to lift it off the semi-tractor trailer. He had nothing to do with that. Everything has gone very well. In fact, if the sculpture should ever be moved from this space for any reason, by natural causes, we can blame John because he actually went inside the pedestal and bolted it down. So he has had a hand on the whole process from beginning to end. So thank you, John, for your help. We thank Kevin Caron for his creativity as expressed in this unique sculpture and also his collaboration on the final installation. We want to thank Mary Westheimer. Mary and I first had a conversation about this particular project well over 18 months ago. It's been quite a journey, but it's been a real pleasure to work with Mary and Kevin on this project. Our work at Whitaker Center is most rewarding because we have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of thousands of visitors each year through our programs, our events, and our activities in science and the arts. Our hope is that this sculpture adds to those experiences, the experiences of our visitors, and that they are drawn again and again to this wonderful place to be enlightened and to be inspired. Thanks to all of you for joining us this evening, and now I'd like to introduce Matt.
Good evening, everyone. Before the bus comes back, I also want to add my heartfelt thanks to the members, my gosh, I'm really short, of the selection committee for choosing this marvelous sculpture, and to our talented and gracious artist, Kevin, and his business partner, overseer, and spouse, Mary Westheimer. Kevin and Mary have been guests in our home for this week, and it's been a pleasure getting to know them. The personal connection to the artist and his art makes this magnificent piece all the more meaningful. And I thank them for being here today to help us celebrate. I also want to thank the members of the Whitaker Board for their leadership and ongoing support. And my final thanks goes to my spouse, Dr. Michael Haynes, for his vision. The entire initiative, the entire enterprise has come about because of Michael's diligence and passion. And I must admit that I am completely biased. But this is a family legacy, a gift to the institution that has become an integral part of our lives. We treasure Whitaker Center for Science and the Arts, and by extension, it's a gift to the city and the region that we call home. Today I speak on behalf of the Haynes family, Michael and I, and our 3 children and their growing families. We are unequivocally thrilled to be part of the center's history and its history making. The sculpture is an enduring reminder of the marriage of science and art It will draw learners of all ages. It will be a destination to study, to see geometry at work in a single beautiful art form. To us, the piece is symbolic of coming home. No matter the distance traveled, no matter the twists and turns of the journey, you will always find your way home. The sculpture also complements the sandstone and the slate that give the center its character, and it fills this space so perfectly. It's situated so precisely that passersby, folks passing by and those looking on from the center can see it at multiple vantage points. So our hope is that you will admire it as much as we do, and that its place at the entrance of the center brings continuing joy. Thank you.
So I will note, I won't read it, but we do have a proclamation from the county commissioners from the county of Dauphin, who had intended to be here tonight, but something came up and they couldn't be here with us, but for their support as well as the mayor of Harrisburg. So with that, I think it's time to invite the committee up with Madeline and Michael to do the unveiling. They can go on either side, right? Yep. Okay. I think we just take them right off to the side. How do you? There you go. Pull it right off. So I don't think I need to say much more about this. This is really something terrific. I think Kevin did a wonderful job of explaining what this means. So we're very, very grateful. And we're grateful as a community to have Whitaker Center for Science and the Arts as part of our lives here. And I've shared this story before, but this is the first place that my family and I came to after we moved here 10 years ago. I have 6 children. And the experience that we had in here was wonderful. It really opened the doors for us to Harrisburg. So there's so many great things to say about Whitaker Center, and I think this piece of sculpture in its welcoming way really says it. So thanks so much. I think there's some more refreshments in the amp lobby, so we invite you to get into the cooler air and enjoy those refreshments. Thank you all for coming.
Kevin will be pleased to sign the DVD for you and so please take a DVD with you.